The Last Candle. In a quiet village nestled between towering mountains, a boy named Arin lived with his mother in a small, humble house. They had little, but they had each other. His mother worked tirelessly, doing odd jobs to keep food on the table, while Arin spent his days helping her and his nights studying from old, tattered books. His dream was to become a scholar, to rise beyond the poverty that had held his family for generations. Every evening, he would light a small candle, his only source of light, and immerse himself in the pages of wisdom. That candle was not just wax and flame, it was his gateway to knowledge, his beacon of hope. But one night, as he set his book on the wooden table and reached for the candle, he realized something dreadful. It was his last one. The tiny flickering light would soon fade, and with it, his ability to study. His hands trembled as he watched the flame dance gently. "What will I do when this burns out?" he whispered to himself. For a moment, he felt hopeless. He had no money to buy another, and the village store was far beyond their means. But deep inside, something pushed him forward. Giving up was not an option. He took a deep breath and made a decision. "I will make the most of what I have." That night, he studied with greater focus than ever before. He read quickly, absorbing every word. He wrote notes, traced diagrams, and repeated information aloud. The flame grew smaller, the wax dwindled, but his determination burned brighter. As the candle neared its end, Aaron felt a surge of defiance. "I will not let darkness steal my dreams." Finally, the candle flickered one last time and died, leaving him in complete darkness. He sat there for a moment, letting the silence settle around him. Then, lifting his head, he looked out of the small window. The moon and stars shone brightly in the night sky. And that was when he realized something profound. Light could come from many places. He didn't need a candle. He only needed determination. From that night on, he found new ways to continue his studies. He used the moonlight, he studied in the early morning sun, and sometimes he even sat by the village bonfire to read. Years passed, and his efforts did not go unnoticed. A traveling scholar visited the village one day and saw Aaron reading by the fading light of dusk. Impressed by his dedication, the scholar offered to mentor him. With time, Aaron's knowledge grew, and so did his reputation. He won a scholarship, moved to the city, and eventually became one of the most respected scholars of his time. One day, he returned to his village, no longer the poor boy with a single candle, but a man who carried the light of wisdom within him. As he stepped inside his childhood home, he found an old candle stub still sitting on the wooden table where he had left it years ago. Smiling, he whispered, "This was never my last candle. My determination was my true light." And so, he dedicated his life to bringing knowledge to those who had none, proving that even in the darkest times, the light within us can shine the brightest.